I'm Robert Patrick Waltz, and I would like to introduce to you the advantages of virtualization on Ubuntu. The focus of this presentation is how to install and instantiate a virtual machine on an existing Ubuntu installation. For demonstration purposes, I will install VirtualBox as my hypervisor, although another virtual machine monitor could have been used, such as VMware, Xen, or KVM. Once VirtualBox is installed, I will create a new instance of Ubuntu running as a virtualized guest operating system. Currently, I am running Ubuntu 10.10, the Maverick Meerkat edition, and I will also install an instance of 10.10 as my guest operating system. The first step is to install VirtualBox. I prefer retrieving the latest binaries of VirtualBox directly from the official website. Notice on the left-hand side of the web page the Downloads link. In Downloads, you will see VirtualBox 4.04 for a variety of operating system platforms, including Linux. And you will also notice a VirtualBox extension pack for all platforms. VirtualBox itself is under a GPL license, but the extension pack is under an Oracle PUEL license. This extension pack provides support for USB 2 devices for all guest operating systems, so we should download it. Okay, it was easy enough. Now on the Linux download page, we have installation packages for several different flavors of Linux, including Ubuntu 10.10. I have a 64-bit operating system, and so therefore I will download the AMD 64 package. The browser will ask whether or not I wish to open this with the Ubuntu Software Center, and I do, so I'll press OK and start the download. Once the software has downloaded, the Ubuntu Software Center will wish to install the file, and we will just click Install because we trust this file type, and we will need to authenticate ourselves by typing in our password. As this takes a while to install, I will pause the screencast. The Software Center has taken a minute or two to install the packages, and it is now complete. So we shall close out these windows and take a look at our installation. Under Applications, System Tools, we will find the Oracle VM VirtualBox, and we will click it in order to run it. And here we have our welcome screen. The first order of business is to install the extensions that we downloaded. So we will need to go to the File Preferences and go to the Extensions menu. Here, over on the right, we need to add a package, and our package comes straight up from our Downloads directory. We open it, and we need to click Install, and we will agree to the license from Oracle. And now we need to verify that we wish to truly install it. Press OK. And it was successfully installed. And we can press OK and get out of our settings. Here on our welcome screen, we have a new button that is available for us to create a new virtual machine. On our new virtual machine wizard splash screen, we should just press Next, and we should come up with a name for our virtual machine. We have the operating system listed here, and we need to select the version. I will be installing a 64-bit version. The base memory size Since we are installing a desktop machine, I will make a fairly large memory size of 2.5 gigabytes. And we will need to create a hard disk from which to boot. Therefore, we should press next and go through the virtual disk hard drive wizard. We wish to install only a fixed size storage because a dynamically expanding storage disk is problematic with Ubuntu. 8 gigabytes default size is sufficient for our purposes today, and we should just finish. And here we are finished with our new virtual machine installation. Here we have our new virtual machine, and before we install a operating system to it, we should check the settings. The general settings have our name, operating system, and the version. Advanced really doesn't give us very much more information. On the system screen, our base memory is set to the 2.5 gigabytes that we installed. Our boot order indicates that we have a floppy drive, but we do not, so we wish to uncheck that and send it to the bottom of the priority boot order list. On the processor, we are going to allocate 2 CPUs on my machine since I have 4 CPUs available, and we want to make certain that the VTX and AMD V virtualization hardware has been enabled for our processor. On the display, since we are installing a desktop environment, we want to increase the amount of video memory to the maximum that we can provide. Storage, we will notice that we have 2 controllers. One is an IDE controller that is being listed as empty. However, we want to make certain that this is going to be tied to the host drive, the CD-ROM host of our server, and we want to enable pass-through on it because we want the CD-ROM to pass through to our virtual drive. On the SATA controller, we want to make certain to use host IO cache. Audio looks good. The network looks good. We don't have any serial ports. USB looks good as well. So I will press OK, and we will continue on with the installation. Since I will be installing from a CD, I will need to insert the CD now, and so while I'm doing so, I will pause the screencast. Now that I'm back, you'll notice that I have the Ubuntu 10.10 AMD64 edition of a CD-ROM in my CD-ROM drive, and all I need to do here is start the machine. And I'll get a lot of interesting informational messages once I first start the VirtualBox. And we'll see here that, another message, that the CD is running, and we'll wish to install Ubuntu. I presume that you have already installed Ubuntu if you've gotten this far with the screencast, and so I will pause and go through the installation process separately. But I do want to let you be aware that when you allocate drive space, you'll want to erase and use the entire disk. That is going to be the VirtualBox hard disk that we created earlier. And with that allocation, you can install the operating system. Our installation is finally complete, and we have one last activity to do before we reboot the virtual machine. We need to unmount our host DVD and CD-ROM player such that the next time that it reboots, it does not attempt to reinstall the guest operating system on the virtual machine. So we click that, and we should be able to press Enter to restart the machine. And if that doesn't work, then we can just reset it. And there we go. It is up and running, and it is available for use. And this concludes my screencast.